Hello YouTube, it's Team Endgame here, bringing you a post-Nationals tournament report from our Sheffield 2013. Yay!
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to sound a bit more lively considering, as you can see, myself and Aaron came third and fourth respectively. To start off, we're going to talk about the tournament and how it went, and then we'll go on to minor things along with that. So I'll just point out that this video will be just informative and opinionated, so don't take anything to heart because it's just our view of the day and things like that. I asked how many participants there were. There were in fact 356 participants, and we'll have deck lists of these to follow, hopefully.
Some point soon.
Yeah, some point soon.
When I can get them up.
So yeah, one of the first things we noticed was that compared to other tournaments that didn't have 356 participants, it was a very small number that qualified, which obviously affected us quite hugely. Was it Hawaii or something? They only had like 75 and the top four went through.
I understand America's a big place, so they would expect to get 100 plus to most of their events. So in that sense, you say, right, if there are 100 plus people going, top four go through, but the way Dave said it is top four go through, top two get paid in America. Now, over in Europe, top two go through. First gets paid, second gets an invite. I'm okay with that in places where Greece, there are like 60 odd people went. But when there's 300 odd, why can't you just say, we're just going to give you an invite? We aren't paying for it. We sticking to our thing and saying only the top one's getting paid, but 2, 3 and 4 get an invite. Because you've had to work harder than people, and the only one which I really know is in Hawaii, because 75 people go. 75, 4 of them are going through.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, you've done well, you've got top 4, you have an invite. But in England, it's all like, or in Europe, it's you get punished. In top 4, wow, you didn't really. I mean, you were almost there, but you're not. So go on, off you go. I off you trot. And they've got more qualifiers as well in America than Europe. So why can't they just say, let's make one exception because they saw the amount of people who went through. Here's an invite. There you go. But no, it was the same with last year. It just annoys me because England got more last year. I thought they would have changed it.
It went up in number, if anything, and the quality went down, I think, but we'll get to that in a bit.
I want to say quality went down. The way they structured it was slightly better because they did numbers instead of just names, because that was stupid.
But at the end of the day, they still did their stupid shuffle paperwork. There's your pairings.
Well, they haven't got they don't have a double elimination tournament software.
Now, the huge issue was the fact that when you got given your numbers, obviously, me and Aaron were 120, 122, and you were
119.
119. Oh, good remember. Yeah, I could have been next to Aaron. Who went between us? Probably, yeah. But yeah, so you were grouped in things of 64, was it?
Yeah, it was 1 to 64.
65 to plus 64 from there.
And then so on and so forth. So again, like last year, you were almost put against your friend. Now, last year there was more of a chance you weren't, because it was first one comes in A, second one comes in B, third one comes in C, fourth one comes in D.
Yeah, so if anything,
then it resets.
As long as you don't go in your groups of friends more than 4, you should be alright. Yeah, so that's the only reason I went against Adam last year is because he was the 5th one to the left of me.
But here, it's you're going to be queuing with your friends, or else why would you be turn up with your friends?
To be fair, it's very lucky that I didn't get paired against Aaron, I'll be honest. Yeah. I thought it'd be done well earlier.
But again, but it's fact that you were much more likely to be paired with your friends. You were paired against a friend on the day.
I was.
You were as well. So was Mike. Mike was paired against Sydney.
Oh, that's true.
Was that like round 2?
Yeah, something like that.
And you were
I think it was round 3. I think at the same time as against Faz.
Yeah, it was, I think.
And you were against Faz. So it's just that sense of, well, I came with my friends. I've played my friends a lot. I don't really want to play them again. I come here to play like a variety of people. If I get to like the top X amount, I'm okay with playing them. I've played 6 rounds and not against them. We've clearly been good enough to get this far. We can play against each other. No, it's it's 64. If you're in that block, which you would be because you queue with your friends, you have your higher chance of playing against each other. And I just don't like how that's done.
Yeah, it goes to the point of how good are your friends. If your friends are all just going there, we played last year, then that group's gonna be really weak. But
it also depends what your friends take, because some people who perhaps didn't take their best deck.
Yeah.
And so you were like, well, if I went against them, but also you know how to counter your friend's play style.
Yeah, we'll get to that later as well.
Awkward style.
Thanks for that, Mike.
Yeah, so
stealing my third place position.
Like, if I know how someone plays, I know what they use. I know their weaknesses. I know their strength. I know their tells as well.
Yes, but I'll take the opportunity now, as I've written it down as part of this structure, that after the national tournament, we went to do a podcast for the Vanguardian podcast. So you can, as a promotion for them, and if you wanted to get more opinions as well as ours involved, I believe it's vanguardian.podomatic.com.
Something like that.
Yep.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Go visit them there. We spent that good 2 hours.
Yeah, you weren't feeling too well though.
No, I still put some input in.
But in that thing, you also had the guy who came second in there as well, as putting his opinion in. Me and Aaron were in there, also the Vanguardian lot. You were going back to the hotel, but nothing, no reason.
No comment.
Nope. But yeah, so feel free to go to there, and other than that, we'll continue.
Also, they took too long again. There's the organisation on the day, like last year, they didn't improve much on it.
No, it was
first round.
First round was bingo.
The first round took about
an hour and a half.
An hour and a half-ish to set up.
Yeah, we're supposed to start. Registration was at 10.
Finish at 10:50.
Did we go in at 10?
Yeah. Well, people started going in at 10. We got in at about 10:30ish. No, 10:15.
And at that
I think
point,
it was supposed to start at 11.
It was supposed to start at 11,
and we started in.
First round was like 11,
half 12.
Yeah,
we started.
Well, just as we're going through the day, I might as well say what we managed to get. For competing, you got the Graphite Cannon Dragon, which is the Kagero Counterblast 1 at 3k, which is well overdue. Probably not going to be used too much now, but even so. You've got the deck holders, storage box, for 2013.
Got one last year.
But instead of getting what we expected to be a deck box like last year, obviously you got this one last year.
Bit worn.
It's a bit worn, obviously. But no, instead we just got the catalogue thing, which I don't know what was in it.
Promoting by Schwartz.
It's basically promoting Bushy Road and all that other stuff.
Yeah, so it wasn't exactly in depth.
And I got a pen.
You got a pen? Yeah, but it wasn't given to you, was it?
Yeah, the guy said, take a pen. I was like, okay.
What I found kind of annoying was that apparently there were posters to give away and I didn't see them at all.
There at the end. Wow.
I wanted to get some posters.
The weird thing was, I spoke to one of the judges, like, do I have to pay for the posters? He thought you did. But then, it goes again with their disorganisation. At the end, they booked the hall till like 4 o'clock. They pushed it to 6, but they just kicked everyone out. So people were just taking things as they left.
Yeah, well, again, cross the bridge when it comes to it, I think. But the yeah. So we'll
Do you
go
want
on.
to go over the free front?
No, we haven't got to the free front yet.
Okay.
But at the moment, we're just playing.
Okay.
I was going to go on to what we went against because based on our predictions, I didn't expect much of a variety. From what I saw, there wasn't much of a variety. Yeah. I personally went against all day nothing but gold paladins and the end mirror matchups. Par one game with Novas that the guy was grade locked, so I just abused that. And right at the end of the day, when I went against Aquaforce.
I had a fair amount. I went against a fair amount in the ends. One MLB, one Angel Feather, which struck me kind of odd. One Platina, and 2 OTT decks, but I went against the same guy twice.
Yeah.
And a Bermuda. That was in the top 8.
Yeah. But you went against my variety. I went against the basic normal Royal, but a Soul Saver,
What? Alright, go on.
And then DP mirror match was my last game.
Fair enough.
I can't remember the middle two.
No, that was gold.
Oh.
Typical. But also it is good to point out as well that they done feature matches. I think it was Cardfight Central that does it or something.
I think that was
At the Nationals tournament. I need to try and find it because I tried to find it, I can't seem to. So if anyone can link us that, it'd be great. But I know myself, I was featured twice on that. Aaron was featured once, and that doesn't include the top 4 matches. So, yeah, whether they...
I don't know if my one counted, because I think the memory card ran out
Yeah,
halfway
you don't
through.
say.
And then they started recording on 3DS.
Yeah, 3DS, yeah.
So I don't know what happened with that one, if it went up or not.
Cardfight in 3D.
Yeah, but but I also asked them to promote my channel, which is good. Even so, they would say that,
Shameless.
to be fair, they recognised us as a channel, which is good. They already knew about us. Like, I heard of you. I was like, yeah. But,
Fair enough.
No, I've
Shameless promotion.
no both you lost your games due to triggers, really, didn't you? But both my games.
I lost 2 games throughout the... Well, except for the one with you, which we'll get to later.
I know, but both my games, but I'll get to them more specifically, the one later on later, but they were both trigger for game, both my losses. So it was like,
Well, both my losses were against the same guy.
Yeah.
I played him once, and then I played him again.
But who was that guy? That guy is national champion.
That guy was the national champion, yeah.
You only lose to the best.
Yeah, I do.
And then you
Cheers,
get,
Aaron.
and then you just get unlucky against Mike.
What's next?
I don't know, I thought you guys would continue while I just looked at this. I'm trying to understand what I wrote.
Not easy, is it? Well, you could say about how your games went. So, just go through your day as your game. Anything interesting happened on
my first game
games?
was ridiculously lucky in the fact that I no guarded an attack, he crit me. I 6 damage healed, so I managed to survive, and then I crit him back and won that one.
Yeah, don't worry, it flows well if you talk about this, so it's fine.
Other than that, most of my games were... I was in control most of it. I just did my grade 2 rush and went bleh, bleh. I couldn't keep up.
I hear you went against one of our friends.
Faz?
Yeah. How did that work out?
Oh, Vanguardian Faz.
I did go against my Guardian Faz. I did a nice little play, I think.
Oh, that was amazing. Remember, it's the
No,
that's
against
someone else.
Oh, so that after.
Well, it struck me odd that he rode Stricken, but fair enough, he has Stricken. But in my personal opinion, that's what kind of let him down a bit.
As a second reason.
Since he missed that drive check. But that turn he'd also used Conroe to search out Bar. So he had 1 cat blast face down. So when it came to my turn, I attacked him. I got a crit in the drive check, but I put all the effects of the rear guard. So he did the 1 damage from my Vanguard, and then I attacked him with the crit on the side. And he chose to guard it.
So going into his grade 3 ride, he only had 1 face up.
Yes, but he rode normal Overlord, not the end, but I wouldn't know that. But it's the idea that it stops the end being active. But on his turn, he rode and then dropped a column, and he literally had his Vanguard column and his rearguard column, and nothing in hand. That was it. And so from there, I was just in control for most of the game.
What happened if he if he got normal Overlord and used the effect of Stricken? I wonder if how would have guarded.
And although he got the effect from Stricken of 5k and a crit, I just no guarded.
That's what I mean. If he uses the Overlord's effect, he might have actually done something there. If he was in that much of a back foot situation.
Well, what's your field? Did you actually have a field?
I had a full field.
Yeah, but you
I had
did you have much
2
in your
full
hand?
columns and a niggly column at the side.
Did you have much in your hand?
Yeah.
Could you have guarded Overlord's effect on Stricken on the rear guard? So you can get 3 drive checks out of it.
No, probably not. No.
Exactly. I would have probably taken the crit note because you're in that situation. Which
You get a draw trigger as well. Maybe try
anything, yeah.
But that's just it's the hope, I guess.
But no, the second thing I saw was when he drove checked the crit, he chose to put it to the Vanguard and give you the 5 damage.
Yeah.
For that you needed for the 3 face up for Platinum. Yeah. So he basically went GG at that point. Gets hoping for a heal or something, but that's
double crit.
I think it was his personal choice.
I think
that was it.
He was hoping for a double crit, so he might as well commit.
I think it's in the back situation where I need to win now. Because my hand's this bad. I mean,
Angel Feather, which was my second game, that came down to time because...
What was your third game?
That was the second game. Faz was the first game. Right. But Angel Feather, he spent most of his turns playing around with damage with the damage adders and Metatron and adding power to stuff that ends up going into time.
Well, angles are slow.
Yeah,
they always go to time.
That's the problem with it. If you take them into a national tournament, you have to be able to use them and use them quickly and efficiently.
Even then, your parents would be like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Explain."
And due to the fact I was fine. I mean, I know how they play. I know what it's like, etc.
But that guy did go to time twice.
Because it went to time, it came to my turn. We were both on 4 damage. I got my damage adder.
I was like, please have me damage adder. Please have me damage adder.
I dropped everything. One of them being the damage adder. Put myself to 5. Ultimate breaking.
Yeah, but let's see. Like when it comes to time, it goes to at the end of that player's turn. It's sudden. Whoever has the most damage loses. But they were both on 4 damage, so he had his turn. He ended. Then Aaron's turn. Now it's sudden death. The next person to take damage or heal wins.
Yeah.
So Aaron, but it's at the end of the turn. So the damage ad wasn't going to kill him, and he did confer with the judge before to make sure. Otherwise, it could have been an arse move. And so it was that turn, push. Now the guy was on 4, so he could have easily said...
And he had about 4 or 5 cards in hand. All his heal triggers were gone. He had to guard every single attack this turn, otherwise...
But after shuffling his hand 7 times, hoping they'd magically change.
He did seem to take an inordinately long time to say...
The thing is, even
normally.
If he did have a heal trigger left, it wouldn't help him because he was on 4, I was on 5. No matter the situation, I had 1 because there is no way to get out of that situation because I pushed myself to the 5 to go back to 4 at the end.
And if you healed, you would have won anyway, even if you could guard everything because you would have just gone down.
Yeah.
But it was that sense. He took a long time, and then eventually, instead of going through the fiasco of guard, take damage, he just conceded. So, but time had been called, so he knew he'd lost. But it may have been different if it was slightly longer time. But
do you want me to carry on to one of my other matches?
Yeah, well, I've got nothing really major to add on my ones. I mean, I remember the recorded one that if you did find it, you'd see is I was against Stan Dope.
Yeah, but that was after the rounds. This is still in the blocks.
Yeah.
Your recorded match was when it was the first round outside the blocks.
Oh, okay.
This was another match where I did go against Dope, and I think when it came to the end, you guys were standing behind me. Looking at play, and this is where you were. Oh,
right. I was. Me and you were standing together going, come on, Aaron.
Dope guy was on cross ride, and I was like, he's got to be able to do like the Dope guys had 2 cards in hand.
I think he had 3 cards and an interceptor.
That's
4. That's potentially viable.
Yeah. So my Vanguard was hitting 19 because I was also on cross ride. So in my eyes, that's 2 cards from hand.
Yeah.
I had a Vanguard Bagmanders and a Slagle that was hitting 19. So that's at least another card in hand.
And then you had.
And then I had a Vivian with. I think it was the damage adder behind it, so it was 15. Yeah. So that would have been his interceptor gone as well. So he would have been able to guard.
It would have been trigger for game at that point.
Yeah. What do? I replace the damage adder with a crit trigger, put it into the soul, give 3k to Vivian, and then drop a Slagle.
That was pro.
So it's hitting 19.
Grim you was like, so pro!
So good! So from that, he would have been 5k short.
But what did he try and do? He went 5, and you were like, no. I did the 4k to it. He was like, oh yeah.
No, it wasn't that. He accepted that one. He tried to.
No,
he tried to say Backmanders wasn't on 12 when I had Platinum as my Vanguard.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
I would have tried to kind of call out the Vivian.
No, because I attacked the Vivian first, and he just goes for a 5 on the last one. He's like, no, that's 16. It's like, no, it's Backmanders. It's 12. Oh, takes damage and loses. Shake hands, good game, etc.
GG.
Go from there.
Yeah, I didn't say GG to the guy who got Grey Dogs.
Good man.
It's not what you should say. It's just I just said, what unlucky mate. Getting Grey Dogs.
Well, that's it. But that's it again.
Yeah, pretty much the most interesting ones, and then it goes to
matches
against the winner.
So a feature match or whatever. So at that point, you were on any losses, and I lost for trigger to game. I was like, no, because I did my push. I went Overlord's effect, swing the end's active and things. And he guarded it. I was like, oh, balls. Then he dropped Overlord as an Overlord's effect. I was like, no, he turned it back to me.
Yeah, but you didn't know you were against Stando.
No, I didn't know I was against Stando.
But then that
I went against the same guy in the top 16, I think.
Yeah, I warned you about it. just to make sure you knew that the Vanguard was a much threat. But it didn't matter because you saw that.
Yeah, I saw a stand early game anyway.
Yeah,
so.
but you didn't know he didn't run crits full stop, which I told you he didn't. So, which is good.
If you've got friends out there, might as well. You were discussing your previous games, just turned out you played them anyway.
Yeah. But no, other than that, it just... yeah.
Where did you actually play your top 16-ish type games?
Well, no, hang on.
yeah.
But before then, Yuri went off to play on the side events. Now, Yuri had an issue straight away because you had to play one match for...
I played 2 matches.
Two matches for the gold one, was it?
Yeah.
And the gold one is Shield Knight of the Clouds.
From deck plus 2k to something.
Yeah, you call it from the rear guard from the deck and it adds 2k to a unit, which is 7k, which is nice. And you have to play 4 games for the starter of Creeping Darko, which is grade 3 searcher for Shadows, right?
Which is like the most expensive card there.
Well, it's because it's the first one that's actually
It's a pioneer
in the
for
deck.
Shadows.
Yeah, which is just what they needed. That's way overdue. That.
Now, the issue that Yuri had was because the event started
It started
an hour and a half
late.
later.
I went out round 5, so I had about 10 minutes to play 4 games. I managed to get 2 in because I was not caring. It was just ride, attack. Oh, I lose. So what? Move on, next game. Ride, attack, lose. I don't care. I wasn't really paying attention. But then, as soon as I got paired up for my 3rd game, and it was this guy's, it was his 4th game. So I was like, right, we sat down, called on the announcer. You have 2 minutes to hand in your sheets. Free fight's over.
Yeah.
Oh.
At which point I would expect them, considering they always have a miles lot of
They did.
cards
They
left.
had one of the deck boxes was full of promos.
So why don't they just say the people that are remaining in the tournament, hand in your sheets, and we'll just give you the promos because we're out of time, which should have been fine because they're not exactly going to hold on to them and do anything else with them.
But
Which basically punished Yuri for getting as far as he did.
Yeah, so you might as well have gone out earlier.
I mean, granted to them, for people like us who got to the top 32, top 16, they just gave us the 2 promos straight out.
Yeah, which is fine.
But it was...
But-
Say I had another round, and then I went out, I wouldn't be able to play in side event. So if I was there on my own trying to get, Dark Goat, it's now going to be, 10 quid or something for a Pioneer.
Yeah,
That's far too much for a card, for a Pioneer.
But it's a promo, you can only get it at a regional tournament.
And
That's why it's so expensive.
Now you can't get it unless you go to, Germany.
Yeah, but that was the issue though, because you went. We're supposed to have. We went in at 10, which was fine. We started the tournament at 12 instead of 11, so it was already an hour behind. Then the free fight started an hour later, but yeah. So, but then it got to the point where they went, oh, and by the way, everyone who's no longer in the tournament, please exit the room because we've run out of rent on the we basically rented the hall.
Yeah, they rented the hall till
4:30.
Till 4:30. I did hear him talk about how could they get to the local game shop, how long it would take them earlier in the day because they knew they were overrunning. But then it was literally 4:30. Everyone who's not playing out. Basically, I think you had 1 or 2 more games in the hall.
We had 1 more game.
And then they moved over to the local shop, which was about 5.
It was top 32 in the hall, and then they moved everyone else afterwards to the local shop. Which, 1, they looked down the long way, and 2, I think we lost a couple on the way there because they might have had to go or something.
Yeah, I heard from people who were knocked out later on heard from their friends that because it overran, they only booked their train for the day because the tournament structure said it's from here till here. They had to leave, so they just effectively said, I'm dropping out because I have to go home now.
Pretty much. And that caused problems later on in the day.
Yep, because not only was it number issues going there, but I think we can draw a line under the efficiency of the staff really that doing it, the judges, because they put us in the basement bit of the place, and some of them were upstairs, some of us were downstairs. They got downstairs and said, has anyone got a spare laptop we can use?
Why do I want a laptop?
They needed a laptop because they didn't have one.
What for?
Tournament.
They didn't do it on the tournament.
No, but I think they wanted it for the...
Recording or something.
Recording.
Oh.
So they needed that. They were still messing around with the sheets and things, but you were upstairs and you won. and I was downstairs. But then we went upstairs for the next bit.
Which was top 8, I think it was. Then.
No, I think it was before the top 8.
Weird. That was a top 12-ish.
It was a top 12 or something, which is why the issue, my issues got even worse, because I basically got called over and said, out of you three, one of you going to get a bye? I was like, are you kidding me? This late in the day? Again, this is teams all over again. And by the way, on the way to this place, when we were in top 18 or whatever, I said to Aaron, it's best not happen the same as teams again, where we get into the final, and we're one win away from going through, and we lose. And that's exactly what happened. But the issue I was going back to a second ago with bye was like, right, let's roll a dice. I was like, why don't we just do... I had to actually suggest how to do it, because I didn't know how to do it. I was like, how about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or something? He was like, no, you can do 1, 2, you 3, 4, 5, 6. I was like, you just change the numbers around, but that's fine. So they rolled it, and I lost. I was like, that's fine. I don't mind playing. I'll do it rather than just getting a bye.
Yeah.
But then the guy sat down, and I said, hang on, just to make sure, mate, have you had a bye yet? He's like, yeah. So this is your second bye. I was like, yeah. I went, Judge, there is no way you're giving him 2 byes in a national tournament.
Yeah.
And at which point, he got annoyed at me because I questioned it rather than leaving it.
Yeah.
And then there was a 50-50 chance of me getting a bye, and I still didn't get the bye.
But you knocked out the guy who...
But I knocked out the guy who got the...
He was angry.
Yeah.
He looked pissed when you lost.
I could have decked out in that
It's
game.
not the point. It's not fair to have
No,
2
it isn't
byes
fair to have
and say
2
you've
byes.
won.
I could have decked out in that game.
It shows that they weren't really... Like, when they did the shuffle on the paper, they would just order paper in, shuffle... Well,
Yeah.
one judge was shuffling them, the others sort of weren't caring, and he handed them to another judge who then paired it out. But they just weren't looking at who you played before. They were just going, right, there you go, move on.
Yeah, but there's...
And so they didn't realise that the guy was going to get 2 byes, because they didn't see he already had a bye.
Yeah.
So
But even then, it was like, we need to go single elimination shortly before that as well, because people were still in, even after the next round.
But they didn't. They went double elimination all the way through. I don't know what they would have done if the guy Aaron lost to... If Aaron beat him, and then later on Aaron lost to him because he was undefeated on the day. Would they have said, oh, now it's single elimination, without declaring it? Or... I mean, it just worked out nicely that that kid was undefeated on the day.
Yeah.
So we didn't have that issue. But because it's supposed to be top 8 cut, then it's best of 3 single elimination.
Guess nothing, it wasn't best of 3.
Well, it wasn't, because they went double elimination all the way through. On the website, it states it's going to go top 8 cut.
Remember, they
Swiss.
did overrun.
And they overran too much. They just kept going with double elimination, and they didn't have to stop him for it. You saw him just writing on paper how they're doing it, and just one person.
That's probably why they went the laptop. Thinking about it,
Probably,
they
just to
wanted
use
it
their
for
software.
the Swiss or
They did.
single elimination.
But, yeah, so regardless, it was just very unorganised, which was just, again, a massive issue. Because, going into the top 4, me and Aaron were... I didn't realise, but Aaron was paired against the guy who topped for a second time
in the top 4.
in the top 4. So not only did I have to remind them that the guy had already got a bye, they didn't realise that Aaron had already got against that player earlier in the day.
Yeah.
But Aaron chose to ignore it because we were kind
Honestly, I didn't want to risk going against Michael.
So yeah, we were getting greedy in a way because we both wanted to top, but I didn't want to knock each other out. But I didn't know that. I thought it was fair, but that was up to you, your discretion, because you didn't know that... I didn't know that you'd already gone against the guy already.
I thought it was looked odd.
And it was also just a bad matchup on our behalf, because I think Azel would do a much better job against Aquas, and I'll probably do a better job against Coco, really.
But Aaron wasn't doing a bad job against Coco.
Yeah, I know.
He's on 3 damage.
So Aaron, you go. My discussion on my one's going to be a bit lengthy, so you do your discussion on your
top
final
4 one.
Yeah, so top 4. This is you're playing for the top 2 places against Coco.
Basically, I actually had control throughout it, pretty much. I was on cross ride, he didn't have much on the field. I'd done my ultimate threat. No, I didn't do my ultimate threat this time. This is the last game, sorry. I think I just out-triggered him, to be honest.
Well, I went 3.
And then he had like 2 in hand, didn't have much of a field. I was ready to push him next turn. I'm on 3 damage, I no guard, and he double crits. So I'm out.
He double crit. So you actually had the trigger advantage.
I think I did by that point, yeah. I'd hit a few more... there's the fact I hit draws.
Yeah.
And as it's Coco, he didn't have draws in there. So he just got his Coco plus and that was it.
But then, with that kid in the final, he was sort of losing a fair bit, but double crit to win. Like, at the end of the day, it's a win. A win's a win. I wouldn't look it down. I wouldn't say I only won because of this. I'm sure he built his deck fine. He's a good player.
Solus is a very powerful deck.
And
it really is.
Yeah, you intended to go with yourself, but we just ended up seeing that Zelk is the more consistent.
And everyone said
Coco is consistent. It's on 10k and it's very easily abused.
And you can go to 13. It's quite a big difference.
And everyone saying on the day he was a very nice guy, but the luck went his way for him to not only double crit in the semi-final, but he double crit to win in the final.
Yeah, I heard that. So he double crit both games in the top 4.
Yeah.
But if you run that many crit, you've got to expect to at some point. But it's just what he did. It's just
That's Vanguard, though, really.
Yeah.
As for your game, Michael, go on, get this out of the way.
I'll point out that just before, we weren't allowed in the actual venue to watch games, or people who weren't there. But there was a nice big window, so we could watch from the outside. And
so obviously, no, we couldn't hear you or anything. In no way you could tell me what's going on.
But there were, there were gestures going on, which I think people out there did put someone off in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Because he looked a bit intimidated with the fact that whenever his opponent did something well, there were like 4 people outside just cheering on.
Yeah.
And it was obvious they were going, "Come on, that's good." When he top decked something good, they're like, "Yes." So the person might have been a bit intimidated because it was basically there were like 6 people looming over him, and I just felt like no one came out and said, "Go on, Shu, like get out of the way."
Yeah.
No one seemed to care. But
yeah,
I think they were just focused. We want this day to end.
Well, so it's the horrible scenario again. Zach says teams. It was Faz this time coming up to me going, "Or if you get to thingy, I'll go with you." Same thing. And basically, people telling us we already won when we haven't.
It was. Just getting your hopes up.
He got our hopes up. He did. But no. With my game, I went against Aquaforce Dude. It was Kevin Lang. His name. I've known him from the Dark Arts when that ran. So he used to be a good Yu-Gi-Oh player as far as I'm aware. So it's not.
Who was in the team?
It's just not a massive. I can't remember, but it's not a massive stretch to say that he would be good at other card games as well. So fair play to him playing this well in this one. But no, I shook his hand in the Vanguardian podcast. Said my bit there. But as this is a different channel, and you guys might not want to listen to the other one, but feel free to again. I'll go over it quickly again. Basically, I've pretty much got 2 mistakes I could call on and 2 game-changing things that happened, because it's obviously the one that sticks in my head as the major game of the day, really. First of all, there was a misplay in the perfect guarding, but I've seen people go out for worse, but or just as bad. But then again, all I've ever seen is someone get a warning, and then if they do it again, then they're out. But because it was the final game, there's no point calling one. It was fine, so I let that go. But the other mistake was the biggest issue ever, because I've got the 2 cards out now, so you can see it. Now, basically, wait, I can't really see it. If you imagine this is a column on the left, right? So as you'd normally do, is you'd attack with Diamantes, it'd switch, and you'd attack, correct?
Yeah.
Now the issue was, it went to his turn, and he went, attack. And I was like, okay, that's an illegal move. You can't actually do that. And he was like, no, I was just saving time. I mean, that to me was a bit of an annoying excuse, because it takes seconds just to go,
Yeah.
like that. Even if you went like that, I would have been fine with it. Just picked it up and went, yeah, that's fine.
Because at some point he showed that he switched them.
He just switched it and left it like that. The pause was long enough to do that. But anyway, as I tried to say to the judges, look, there's phases in Vanguard as there is other games. The fact he's rested this unit, he's initiated the battle phase, i.e. he's happy with his setup. This is how he wants to play.
He didn't call anything else. But it's an illegal move.
Yeah.
You can't rest. You can't rest or boost with the rear guard grade 3.
So I would have been happy if they went, okay, so leave it unrested and just continue playing.
Yeah. Because See, this is my thing. He basically has said, I'm going to my battle phase. I'm going to start attacking. I understand the Dementus has to be the first attack, so that's why I would rest it first to attack. But he didn't swap. So, as rules go, you rewind to the previous game state, which wasn't affected before the issue occurred, and that would have been the start of his battle phase.
Now there were 3 judges around me when this happened. I think Adam was probably the most efficient judge there.
I wasn't an efficient judge on the day.
I think he was a really good judge, but
He was.
So that Adam basically said about the situation, and it went to the head judge's ruling thing, and. But as I tried to explain exactly what you said, it's a very simple thing just to explain. They basically told me to be quiet. They know what the situation is, so I can't talk. I can't even put that point forward.
Yeah, that was annoying.
Because they listened to everything he said, word for word. They listened to him intently. He spoke for just as long about why he did it, but they would not listen to me in the sense of why I don't think he should be able to go back to any further back than leaving it there.
Well, that's the issue on the day was I felt only Adam really listened to both sides. Because I had an issue earlier in the day. Adam came over, listened to both sides. Granted, we were both in the wrong at the very end of it because we drew before we should have. So we both got warning, got to redraw. But at this point, you listen. You have to for this argument to happen. You have to listen to both sides. They it looked like even from the outside, it even looked like they were just ignoring Mike's side and just going, "What did you do? Okay. We'll go back to that game state." So they went back to the main phase.
Went to the main phase, so he was allowed to switch, then continue attacking. Now, in terms of guarding, this now negs me, if you think about it, an extra 5k, and he got a trigger, so that's an extra 10k. Now, it would have been 10k anyway, but that's still 1 extra card that I've lost in this game because of that ruling. And I was 1 card short right at the end.
Also, because I went back to the main phase so he could swap, if we looked at his hand and realised, hang on, if I drop this booster here, he could have called another card from a unit from his hand. He didn't, but he could have.
Yeah.
And that's what annoyed me about that whole ruling is you go back to the main phase so you can rejig, you can drop units if you want.
Now that shouldn't really be happening in the top 4 was my argument. Because you shouldn't be making such silly mistakes at that point.
Well, if you do...
And didn't you say you made some mistake in other games as well? I'm not hating on the guy. Obviously, I need to stress that obviously he played well.
Yeah.
Congrats for him getting top 2. But all this is a discussion, an opinionated thing on how the day went and this issue.
In the game beforehand, he did drop 3 unit cards to guard, go, wait, hang on, pick them back up, and drop 2. Now,
because there's one thing...
I see Vanguard and all card games, it's the same principle of chess.
Table 6.
If your hand's on the piece... You can take it back. As soon as you let go of the hand of the piece or the card, it's done. You've decided to say, the table is sticking, you've decided to say, this is what I'm guarding with.
That's why whenever I guard, I go, wait.
Now see...
And then, I say wait because I haven't finished guarding. That's staying there. I haven't finished guarding. I'm like, okay, go. That's what I do. I don't go, no, and then just keep jigging that. I'll just guard and go, wait, okay, I'm done.
That for me is fine because you're saying, right, I'm guarding with this 10.
I'm calculating in my head.
And then I'm going to guard with either this 5 or this 5. Depending. You can't just go, I go with this 10, this 5 and 5. Look at your hand. Oh wait, I've got another 10. I'm going to pick these 2 cards up and drop that 10.
Yeah.
I just don't think those things. And to be honest, I know this is bad, but if he was called on that, and he got a warning from your thing, and if he did call on the perfect guard, he would have got a game loss. So essentially, he got away with 2 things because people weren't going to call him on it.
Mm.
But it shouldn't come to basically the semi-finals where you make that sort of mistake.
Yeah. Trigger-wise, you can't remember too much in your game, but this one, because my Guardian first was writing it down as we're doing it, he said he triggered 3 times. I triggered 2. Now that one trigger is so he got 2 of those triggers were so significant to the game state. It was unbelievable. He basically had a lineup of 3 cards. No, it's basically a front row, yeah. You went attack with the left column. That's a card, right? That was one damage. It's fine. He had an 8k beat stick on the right and a Vanguard. I went, right, so if I just let this Vanguard through, then the end's active, it's fine. So I went, right, so no guard. He then gets a crit, so it's 2 more damage, I'm at 3. And power to rear guard, and I got no triggers and damage. So not only did that put me to 2 more damage, an extra damage than I should have, it was also an extra card from my hand to guard there as well. And then right at the end, it was trigger for game, and he got the trigger. Yeah. And it was a crit as well. It would have killed me anyway, but it just, both times. Looking at his deck afterwards, it was... I have no idea how he did it, but he only had 1 Maelstrom and 3 Glory, and the rest were... He ran 9 grade 3s, which is the same as me, so that's fine. But he ran a mixture of Diamantes and Benedict as his final 5. So that's only 4 cards he wants to ride in his entire deck, and there's no way to search it.
He has a grade 3 search.
But that doesn't mean you're going to find the 4 every day, throughout the entire day at Nationals. There's no consistency card, really, part of that. So that's another thing that got me, really. And also, the other thing to mention was he always had a perfect guard response to the end attack, which was so annoying. Because talking to you guys later, you said every time because I never saw him drive check the perfect guard. He always drew the perfect guard. So it was like, I perfect guard the end. I perfect guard the end.
Well,
I perfect guard the end. It's like, God damn it.
That was my game in my day. The games I lost, I didn't see a perfect guard. My opponent, I didn't see him get them, but it was always a perfect guard. So it's like, I have a big attack. He's got a crit. You have to drop like at least 3 cards from hand to stop it. No, it was a perfect guard too. I was like, crap. Next turn again. I was like, crap.
And it was just laughable.
I didn't see any, so it was just I now have to drop all my hand because all I have is 5s.
It was just
you just go.
It was just laughable because of that. I just went nil to the rear guard. You went guard. Soul Blast 21 to the rear guard rather than dropping 10 and a 5 or something. You just perfect guard, get rid of a grade 3 or trigger or something. It really doesn't matter. So it just saves me so much hand. There's no commit or anything, not got any triggers, just not the point. So yeah. At the end of the day, me and Aaron got both very unlucky right at the end, and we fell at the last hurdle, which is horrible, it's typical, it's bring out small violins. But yeah, we basically went against each other the next game, which all we could do was just laugh about, because the amount of times we practiced, especially these 2 clans against each other, I was like, God damn it, Aaron, you know exactly what I'm doing. So
I went first, I got superiority on my second go, but from there I had no boosters the entire game. He rides the end.
You superior road, you got better 2 boosters.
Not the point. Yeah, I know.
You had 2 grade 3s in
I was
hand.
expecting to find boosters, but throughout the rest of the game I didn't find boosters, I couldn't hit 16. That's how bad my hand was. Mike goes to the end, drops another the end at the sides. I'm like, I'm not a twit, I know you've got it.
Hey, what if I just needed to drop something?
I know what you're like, you would never drop it unless you have one.
So basically...
Or it's like, you only have 1 card in hand and he's pushing the column.
Yeah, so
I still probably have one in hand.
I'll drive check it with you.
So I guard it, the next turn comes around, I got bugger in hand, I know guard, I know he has it, I just hope that he doesn't get anything good, he gets a crit.
Yeah. Did I get crit?
You got a crit at some point. Even
the
first check
point.
or the second check, you
Basically, I just got the end's effect off and I just pressed you way too fast. So.
No, because in that turn you won. So I think it's either the first
No,
right
at the end, I double crit, but you were dead at that point anyway.
Yeah, I think it was in the restand that you got double crit.
No. I didn't double crit with the restand.
You must have done.
But if it was the second attack, in the sense that it had no triggers on it.
On the restand.
Yeah, but...
Because I couldn't guard the second attack anyway.
Yeah, so if it was crit for game, it was just double crit to make sure you were dead, but... Alas,
but yeah.
You didn't have the best hand in the world.
I knew how to play you, I knew you had the end in hand, I had to guard it, etc. But
so as
you knew how to play against me, so it didn't really matter.
Yes, so not much I could do about Platinum, really.
Well, it's just that you
I was on a Zell.
Yeah, so I just went, no, I'm 4, 0. Carry your rig, I can't plus him back this turn. Yeah, so as I rightfully, came 3rd is fine. No, I wound him up a bit afterwards, but that was just to cheer.
Hey, apart from you, I only lost to the national champions, so
yeah,
cool.
so it's just we can't really knock it. It just goes. We actually can see it as promotion for our channel. We've proved ourselves as card fighters.
It's a learning experience, I guess.
Also, shout out to leisure games as well that we play at. So if you ever want to go there, this
Patriot Games in Sheffield who put up with
the
hosting
the
tail
top,
end.
the top 16 or whatever it was.
So
Without knowing, they had to
and
go ask.
the Vanguardian for an enjoyable weekend and joining on their podcast.
It's a bit of fun that, but I think they should have got bit less people there though, because it was a bit too kind of.
It was an open invite.
An open invite, I guess. But regardless, other than that, it was quite an enjoyable day. Part of disorganisation and things.
Mm-hmm.
If you overlooked that, then it just seeing a bunch of our friends together playing card games, and we just done well. So just unfortunate we fell at the last hurdle again.
So now we just wait till next year and hope we do better.
A bit of a target there.
I can improve.
Go with a deck you're better than.
Yeah,
I didn't have much of a choice.
A big hint to anyone who's preparing for a deck: don't change it 2 days before a tournament, and then trust that you're gonna get it go off, because it just no.
Or just make sure you've selected your deck before the tournament as well.
No, I selected the deck.
Other people didn't.
I was pretty sure I was going with that deck, and then the 2 days before, you did.
No, don't blame me.
Change it.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but I don't.
And then
the DP had never been up there.
Right? No. And if it wasn't for basically every time I attack, they'd go perfect guard, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, it would have been a good change, but
it may have been a good change. But it's like the games I won, I didn't even see that change. I didn't see Laurel in the games I won, which says a lot.
Yeah, well, it's difficult. It's a difficult choice because it seems exact same as teams. Again, we have the 2 decks we want to run, and it goes down to the 3rd deck, which is just. It seems a lot of different types of decks to use, and some are more consistent than others, some are better than others.
I wasn't grey locked. That's my 1+ from the whole tournament.
Yeah,
I wasn't grey locked.
That was it.
Once.
I thought I'd lost against Aaron. I kept 1 card in hand as grade 1. I shuffled back and drew into 3 grade 3s and 2 Gojos, and I was like, and I had perfect guard. I was like, so 3 grade 1s, 3 grade 3s. I was like, right, god damn it, Aaron, you've won this. So I went right perfect guard. Move Conrad back, Gojo effect, discard, draw. Gojo effect, discard, draw. Drive check, grade 2. I was like, oh, for God's sake. Thank God for that. So, that's another reason why they're good.
Something we forgot to mention in this, but compared to our predictions.
Yeah, can you remember what we predicted?
Well, I remember we said that Aqua was going to be everywhere. I saw the one that came second, and that was it. I didn't see a single Aqua Force on that.
I said I reckon there'd still be a lot of gold, the end, and MLB, because everyone invested in team events and they want to just stick with the same deck they've played.
Gold, though, I saw a lot. I saw one MLB, which was my first game.
I heard there was loads of MLBs.
I heard a lot of people running MLB.
Really?
And I think a lot of people probably lost.
Yes. Because that deck is not consistent.
Maybe they didn't get the effect off and it was getting 10k abused because they don't have a draw power to go, yay,
that's the big problem with that deck, and
so,
I feel I made it as consistent as possible. But
I think I was right on that one.
we were all wrong on terms of Narukami going to be up there. People were using them, but didn't get very far.
A lot of people were using them, and a lot of people just went out with them. It's like,
I'd say it'd be up there. It's just
no, we agree because due to the other tournaments, it'd be up there along with the rest of them.
We said it was going to be up there, but we didn't know how it was going to be up there.
Yeah, exactly.
And on the upside, it wasn't up there. So
and we know how it wasn't up there. It's not a good deck.
It's not consistent.
It's not good.
But Yuri was also very correct in one of his predictions.
OTT would be up there, and they won it. But only in the UK, in a cross-ride format with 11Ks as backups, do you have OTT with a 10k base winning it out of 300?
OTT can hit 21 on grade 3 ride,
256,
and then at limit break hit 23. It's easily done.
Yeah,
and it's amazing.
It was a good. So
but it's a 10k Vanguard, that's what lets it down. I'm surprised it won against Aquaforce, but to be fair, it
double crit.
Double crit.
But it won against you with a double crit. So it's that whole. It's up there, but it's one of the only decks which you consistently say is going to run 12 crit. Because draw triggers in it are just going to be.
I just don't, it's just Narukami and Aquaforce. I don't understand how they can go an entire national tournament and win it. I understand normal tournaments because they're not as long, but getting the perfect setup pretty much the entire day.
The guy in the quarterfinals came back from a grade lock to win it, and it was triggered for game, but he came back, he healed the first damage, and just got out. I imagine throughout the day he did luck's going to be on your side. If you're going to get up there, luck's on your side. And I saw him go at the end of his games. He went through the deck, split up where his triggers were, where his grade 3s were, because he didn't want to be grade locked again. I imagine he did that at the end of each game, because I do that at the end of each game. I try and unclump my deck, which is all clumped.
I just shuffle.
Yeah, I just shuffle away.
Well, I unclump and then.
That was the other thing, because it was 3 Glory and 1 Maelstrom. He rode Glory. I had to keep him off 5 damage. Luckily I remembered that bit. So that obviously saved him guard, because I was going rear guard. Because if he used Glory's effect, because he crit me early game, he put me to 5 way too quickly. So I literally could not let the Vanguard hit. And there's no way I could guard it, because I didn't have enough...
triggers, because you triggered twice.
Yeah, I triggered twice. I did not have triggers in my hand. I couldn't perfect guard either. Not that I saw that either, that's not the point. So I used found 1.
Well, that's it. At the end of this whole thing, ultimate breaks are stupid.
Yeah.
Bar the blood, which is what everyone was saying, which is true. And
it's still threatening, don't get me wrong.
Even our ranking of the discussion of Cardfight, that was the top one, wasn't it?
Yeah, well...
Well, the end was the top one. Then there was that, and...
Is always going to be more broken because it doesn't require a limit break. You just need 2 damage.
This is why I don't think Dauntless the End is as good as the end and something else.
That's for a different day. It's just the end of this tournament. It was cross rides, the best ultimate breaks, the city, especially Glories. We always knew Glories was, but I have done pretty bad all game. I don't have triggers in my hand. I'm now fearing putting you to 5. If you damage add, I'm dead in the water because it's attack, counter blast. You can't guard grade 1s or higher. Oh,
yeah,
sort of situation. But it's the ultimate breaks are stupid if they do something different to the normal one. Whereas in Vermilion, it's just if you have to ride Vermilion first, you wait till late game before you can go. I poke your field, and by that point, they usually replace anyway. Because you very rarely have a field in Vermilion.
Pretty much. But that's why it was good, because the format was, unless you have to draw power, you can't replace your front row, and you can't hit cross rides because of it. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
Just hopefully next year they'll have better organisation.
But we hoped that last year.
I hope so.
Well, last year they've improved by saying its numbers, and hopefully they can improve again.
Yeah, at least we got a tag on us, but people were changing the line before they even got to it.
Something they saw. And I've had a word with... I'm looking into something about it, so... something different for another day.
Fair enough. Well, as usual, thank you guys for listening. Feel free to like, comment and subscribe. Please look forward to our deck breakdowns of the 3rd and 4th place decks.
We might do yours as well.
Nope.
And we'll see you guys later.